I didn't just destroy someone's life for revenge. I became a criminal stalker and lost everything I ever cared about. If you think betrayal justifies crossing every moral line, this story will show you exactly why you're wrong. 3 months ago, I had everything. 4 years with Jake, wedding plans in motion, a best friend, Sarah, who knew every secret I'd ever whispered. My heart actually ached with happiness when I saw them laughing together at parties, thinking how lucky I was that my boyfriend and best friend got along so perfectly. Make sure to subscribe, because this confession will show you what happens when revenge becomes your religion. The first crack in my perfect world was a crumpled hotel receipt falling from Jake's jacket as I hung it up. My hands started trembling before my brain even processed what I was seeing. Room 247, Marriott downtown, last Tuesday night when he claimed he was working late preparing for his big presentation. My entire body went numb as I called the hotel, my voice surprisingly steady as I pretended to be Mrs. Anderson, asking about something left in room 247. The desk clerk cheerfully confirmed that Sarah Williams had checked out Wednesday morning. The phone slipped from my fingers and clattered on the kitchen floor. 4 years of I love yous, future plans, and absolute trust shattered in that single moment. But it wasn't just romantic betrayal. It was complete annihilation of reality. Sarah knew how I looked when I cried, knew about my father leaving when I was 12, knew every insecurity that kept me awake at night. She'd held my hand through panic attacks about not being good enough for Jake, and she'd been screwing him in hotel rooms while I planned our future. I drove to that hotel and sat in my car for 3 hours, staring at the building where my entire sense of self had been murdered. The rage that built inside me wasn't just anger. It was a living thing that demanded blood. Something cold and calculating took over my mind. For 2 weeks, I became a detective in my own life, pretending everything was normal while systematically documenting every lie they'd ever told me. I installed tracking software on Jake's phone while he showered. I befriended Sarah's co-workers on social media to gather intelligence about her promotion timeline. I discovered Jake's boss was a conservative Christian who'd fired employees for adultery. Sarah's law firm had a fake excuse. I was no longer the victim. I was becoming something else, entirely. I started surgical and precise. Screenshots of their most intimate text messages, sent anonymously to both families. Photos of them kissing in restaurant booths, forwarded to David and our mutual friends. A detailed Facebook post with timestamps, receipts, and evidence that I tagged literally everyone we knew in. Within 6 hours, both their phones were exploding with calls from devastated family members. Jake's mother called me sobbing, asking how long I'd known her son was a cheater. Sarah's conservative parents posted a public disownment on Facebook that got shared hundreds of times in our social circles. David broke off their engagement in a comment thread that went viral among our friends. I refreshed social media obsessively, watching each new humiliation with a satisfaction that felt like the first good meal after starvation. But even as their reputations crumbled in real time, the rage inside me wasn't satisfied. It was growing stronger, demanding more destruction, more control, more punishment for daring to make me feel powerless. Their personal humiliation wasn't enough anymore. I wanted them to feel the same financial terror and professional helplessness they'd created in my emotional life. Over the next month, I systematically dismantled their careers. I sent Jake's Christian boss detailed documentation of him using company credit cards for hotel rooms during work hours, complete with photographic evidence and timestamps proving he'd lied about client meetings. Jake was terminated within 72 hours for moral turpitude and misuse of company resources. Sarah's law firm received an anonymous package containing fabricated evidence of her having inappropriate relationships with clients' partners, complete with forged email exchanges and doctored photographs. Her promotion evaporated overnight, and she was placed under ethics review that would haunt her career for years. I felt like a god controlling their destinies, finally making decisions about their futures instead of being their victim. The power was intoxicating, addictive, consuming. Every morning I woke up thinking about new ways to hurt them, new vulnerabilities to exploit. Revenge had become my full-time obsession. But destroying their careers still wasn't enough existence. Every moral boundary I'd ever had disappeared. I justified every illegal act by remembering that hotel receipt, by imagining them laughing about fooling, stupid, trusting me. The line between victim and villain had completely vanished. I wasn't fighting monsters anymore. I had become one. The destruction started consuming innocent people like wildfire. Jake's teenage brother got bullied so mercilessly at school about the family scandal that he attempted suicide. Sarah's elderly grandmother had a stress-induced heart attack after disowning her granddaughter publicly. David developed severe depression and lost his job due to the public humiliation. My own parents started questioning my increasingly erratic behavior as I became secretive, paranoid, and obsessed with monitoring my victims. Friends who tried to reason with me were systematically cut out of my life or manipulated into taking sides. I was burning every healthy relationship I'd ever had to fuel this revenge fire, but I couldn't stop. The sight of innocent people suffering should have been my wake-up call, but I'd lost all capacity for empathy. They chose to associate with cheaters and liars, so they deserved whatever consequences came with that choice. I had become completely disconnected from my own humanity. Then Jake and Sarah hired a cybersecurity expert and private investigator to trace the harassment. Turns out, fabricating evidence and running elaborate stalking campaigns leave massive digital footprints. They traced every fake social media account, every anonymous email, every fabricated document back to my IP address and devices. Their lawyer served me with a cease and desist letter, detailing every single crime I'd committed over 4 months of revenge. Cyberstalking, harassment, defamation, identity theft, fraud, interference with business relationships. The list was 15 pages long. My own lawyer looked physically sick as he explained that I was facing potential federal charges and definitely massive financial liability. The tables had completely turned. I wasn't the victim seeking justice anymore. I was a criminal facing serious prison time. The person staring back at me from the bathroom mirror was unrecognizable. Anything Jake and Sarah had ever done to me. I'd destroyed my own character, morals, relationships, and future more thoroughly than they'd ever destroyed my 4-year relationship. The worst part was the dawning realization that none of it had healed the original wound. I still felt just as betrayed and worthless as the day I found that receipt. Today, I'm facing 8 felony charges and civil lawsuits that will financially destroy me for the rest of my life. I live in a studio apartment my parents grudgingly co-signed for, unemployed and unemployable because my criminal record appears in every background check. Jake and Sarah actually got married last month. My harassment brought them closer together through shared trauma, and they're stronger than ever. My revenge didn't just fail spectacularly. It gave them a beautiful love story about overcoming adversity together. I'm the psychotic villain in their narrative now, not the betrayed victim. I traded 4 years of love and heartbreak for a lifetime of criminal consequences. The original betrayal hurt for months, but this revenge will haunt me forever. I lost myself so completely that I don't even recognize who I used to be. If you're watching this, planning revenge on someone who hurt you, please learn from my catastrophic mistakes. Subscribe for more cautionary tales about the real price of revenge. Some wounds heal with time, but some choices destroy you permanently.